Good evening. Welcome to this installment of Searls After Dark, the program where I sit at a computer, I type things, the computer talks back at me, we have a fun little bit of banter. Just the computer and me, but you're also there. You're here too. The three of us, it's just, we're trying to make a Rails application. It's a simple one. Somehow, this is week 7 or 8. I should know that. I should have show notes that tell me what week it is. It's the point though isn't the number of the week. It's the number of weeks that we've been doing this. It's a lot of weeks for not a lot to show for it. Or is it? I'm getting a lot of great email from folks. So thank you for that. The email address again is let's at playstupid.games. Realize there's a lot of punctuation in there. It can be a little confusing. So you can also leave a comment while you're, of course, liking, subscribing, and all that. Mashing that bell. So this week's gonna be a little bit different because we don't have like a thing to do necessarily, just like a lot of different stuff to tighten. We've kind of half finished a bunch of stuff. And this is I'm realizing this is not how I program computers typically. Normally I'm not talking to a camera. Instead, I just sit down, I look at it, and especially for apps that I am writing for my own edification and enjoyment, I use them, and then I am dissatisfied with their function or form, and then I sit and I just tweak. I'm more of a tweaker. And so I'd like to spend more time just tweaking. Let's just make things a little bit nicer. And I think we're over the hill now in the basic behavior of the application that we can start investing more time in. It doesn't have to have a whole lot of UI. It doesn't have to do a whole lot more things. It has a couple options for sure, and we definitely have to figure something about pricing. But I can imagine a road where if we weren't doing just 1 hour a week to camera, I almost started the stopwatch on time this time. So I've only lost however long that was, a couple minutes. If I wasn't doing that, I would be just obsessively tweaking and trying to make use of this, like everything else that I've built. And I'm not there yet. I haven't even deployed this. I haven't even pushed this to GitHub, even though I could put this to a private repo or something. And it's partly because I want to take you all along for the ride on that stuff. And it's just a particularity of if I'm going to tell you what the domain name is and where to go find it. You should be able to use it yourself. But until I've got a payment system or I'm accepting API keys, that doesn't really make sense. So thoughts. That's our today's planning session was brought to you by our beverage sponsor. You know what? Who I will name later. We'll pull that up later. It's on ice. It'll work itself out. All right. So starting right off, we got some news. So news today. This is a sneak preview of our RailsConf presentation in a couple weeks. We're going to be building the standard Rails plugin. For standard Ruby, and I thought it'd be a lot of fun. I thought it'd be really easy because you're just kind of going through rules and then voting as a town hall, like should we enable this rule or not? And it sounded so simple in my head, and then I was like, oh yeah, like standard doesn't support plugins, and like Rubocop doesn't support plugins, and if we're gonna make a plugin, we should make it nice. We should make it like work well and interoperate. And I don't know if you've ever built a plugin system for an existing thing that doesn't support plugins, but one, it's a lot, and two, the reason that it's a lot is it forces you to kind of create division lines that weren't there before, and it forces you to think about things in a way that you hadn't before. And so I'm having a real monkey of a time with this. But I've built a plugin system that I'm about ready to publish that actually would work between standard or Rubocop. Rubocop could adopt this as its official plugin system. So I'm pretty excited about that. We're moving to pace, so I'm going to move all of our standard core, and then all of the plugins that are going to shake out of this. Because the first thing that you do whenever you make a plugin system for a tool is you pluginify the existing parts of the tool, and so that's coming as well. So if you're a standard Ruby fan, stay tuned. Also come to RailsConf. See you there. In other news, rewind.ai has introduced its ChatGPT 4 feature, which I have access to, apparently. I realized that because the keyboard shortcut to pull up the help menu search, which I use all day, every day. If you're just a Mac power user tip right here, if you want to know like, oh yeah, where's like the last open tab? or last close tab, right? Reopen last close tab. I don't have to remember it. I just search for it and it'll find it in the menu hierarchy for me. I use this all the time. Well, they took that keyboard shortcut, which is Command Shift slash, so basically like Command question mark. They took that from me because they replaced it with this. Nope, with this. Just keep adding modifier keys till something happens. So now you can ask rewind anything, and it'll summarize what I was doing. So let's see. Last week, last Tuesday to be more specific, so it has something to go on. Last Tuesday evening while recording. Oh, and you know what? I'll have to move my head. All right. More central, less UI Chrome. Let's make this more accessible for the viewer. This is a television program, after all, on the internet. Last Tuesday evening, while recording an episode of my Searls After Dark. My keyboard's been wonky. I think it needs batteries. It's a shoddy craftsman who blames his tools. Let's see. What are some of the things I talked about doing? Now, I don't think it Googles. I think it just looks locally, but because I edited the show, it'll see the show notes. So yeah, slash commands. Blog post, yep. Ruby Kaigi, yeah, if you want to go to Japan, that's cool. And then it has all these notes, and you can see like me working in the YouTube studio, me texting my friend John. You can see all these little moments. Yeah, it's real weird. And then those links just go to video because it's just recording all the time. So this is where we live now, and I'm part of the problem. All right, so let's open up Visual Studio Code. Like I said, I just want to tighten some bolts today. Let's see. So always I like to start by like outside in, look at what's the application doing? Is it working? Is it running? I'm going to focus today primarily on how does it feel to use it. Oopsie. So for starters, some of the styling is weird. Where'd that come from? Is it like pretext? Or is it always going to do this? Yeah, white space pre-line. Is it just this white space? Ooh. Oh, it was just the leading side of it. So what is this character? See, a lot of... yeah. All right, so the best way to find a white space character, I'll just paste it, say white space. This is unhelpful. It sees that as just a space. Huh. Well, I had plans today to show Postico. Another thing when I try to tighten stuff up is I'm not only thinking as a user, I'm thinking as like the person who's like building out a data model. Like, does the data reflect what the user interface is? There's sort of a symmetry that I want to see. So how many chats do I have? Of course, I just have that one chat. It's just a dangly do upon which to either dangle or do the messages. All right. So which message ID is this? Is that sprinkled onto the markup at all? It is not, which is fine. I'll just look for one of the two konnichiwas. I sort the text here. Weird, I don't see it at all. Was there more stuff? There's two konnichiwas here, but there's like more stuff after. But they also have later IDs, so that's probably, yeah, that's later on. Is it? Oh, yeah. Is it one of these ones? Like what even? Is there like a wrap text? I was showing off this tool. I was excited to show. All right, so let's go to query mode. Dun, 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 dun. Select star from messages. Same problem. Yep, okay. The right arrow was the key that I was supposed to hit to see the bottom of the multi-line text on these non-expandable rows. I get it, it's a hard UI to do. Huh. I wonder what that white space is doing there. All right. I'm thirsty, literally thirsty. It's not a problem. Not a prop. But like I said, today's episode was brought to you by Suntory All Free. It is part of a series of beers in Japan that, and they're very popular, especially with young people, oddly enough, in part because of the social pressure to drink at work or drink after work at like kind of semi-compulsory, if not like, kind of obligatory after work drinking parties, which have thankfully decreased in number quite a lot in recent years. In part because of that, I think the younger generation was naturally skeptical of alcohol at social events. And there's other kind of societal reasons too. Of course, it's terrible for your health and so forth. But one of the things that's just the most Japanese thing is they were able to do the 0% alcohol by volume, but they're also able to do the 0 calories, 0 carbs thing. And we've seen attempts at both of these in America, but I don't think we've ever seen both in one. And so when you ask, from a ideological perspective, what is a beer with 0 calories and 0 alcohol? You start to get in the weeds pretty quickly. It's a concerning concept. Basically, you're just drinking chemicals, I think. I've never drank one of these. I bought this 4-pack a while ago, and I've never thought, I really want a 0 calorie, 0 alcohol beer right now instead of water. That sounds hydrating. So here we go. It's that good sound production. All right, here we go. Let's try this out. It's malty. It's like very malty, which I don't normally pick up on but it's cold and it's liquid. It's got like way more mouthfeel than I thought. I'm just using words now like this is Top Chef or some shit. I expected it to be waterier, but it's kind of substantive. Substantial? Substantive. It's substantive. This is a serious man's 0 alcohol, 0% beer. All right. Yep. Well, I know what that is now. And I'm no longer thirsty. So, problem solved. Okay. So, that was a quick mystery. Something we were doing before was prepending white space on messages coming back from the AI. And it seems to maybe no longer be doing that because these later messages don't have it. All right. So maybe I can just forget about that. This stinks, this formatting. I could make a little logo around this. I could also switch to the streaming format. Oh, I really want to do that so that we don't have these long waits. But that's a whole episode. We're already behind on time today if we're going to do that. I think it's going to take a while. We also have this additional / command about grammar. Okay, so I noticed that I had a thought that I forgot to save the / command itself as a user side message, and I think I did here because it doesn't show up. But I'd like to save it. So let's see if that's in the video. What do you think of it? Let's go back to sorting by, created as the canonically correct way. We support 2 commands. Yeah, so the system command is saved when you ask for help, but that you asked for help is not. Similarly, interesting. Okay, that comes back as a system command, the translation. So recall there's 3 roles in OpenAI speak. User is the user. System is the computer mediating the exchange. Mediating, that's a word that you only get with the 0% alcohol beer. I would have moved on to a 2-syllabler at most otherwise. It's not growing on me. I think that the host organism is starting to detect that something is wrong with this. But I'm going to commit to the bit. We're going to get through this. Anyway, yeah, so the user is the user, the system is the us, we are the system, we're the man now, and the assistant is the AI's responses. So I feel like the translation response should be an assistant role, for sure, and it should be hidden from AI for future conversational purposes, because it's not part of the conversation. It would be confusing to have that just pop up in the conversation. This is right. Oh, I see. No. This is not the whole translation. I forgot. I wasn't even reading the text. What this text here, this is actually the prompt. Let's see if I can zoom in. This was all prompt. I don't want to show that at all anywhere. That's secret proprietary. ChatJPN trade secret. Ban your eyes. All right. So we don't want to show that at all. We have to be way more just conscientious. So let's look at the code. Let's pull that up finally. Now, the reason that sometimes I like to start my work sessions with usage is that using software makes me angry, and I start to care about it, and I start to get all pent up. If I start looking at code, code is an emotionally neutral, not particularly interesting artifact of a lot of care mad, and I care like a lot more about using the software and how that makes me. So that's why in my professional practitioner life, that's how I typically roll. Remind me where we're gonna always an app lib for most stuff. Was it under chats? I guess everything's chat. The whole app's chat. This is maybe becoming a not particularly good namespace. Okay. Translates text. Grammar is to do. Help. Okay. Yeah, help saves that message. Role is system. Yeah, that makes sense. Hide from AI. Also, if it's not clear from looking at the UI, I failed to mention this. These system messages still appear exactly like the AI messages. We will want to visually distinguish those, of course, somehow. I don't know how yet. It's in mind. It's another tweak. So I'm in a tweaky mood today from AI. But we're not saving the slash command itself. What we could do, just to try this out, chat, text, adders, text. And this could be role user. And hide from AI true. And in fact, regardless of the outcome, we may want to save it. Whoopsie doopsie. Because that's going to be the same as whether we're asking for help or translating. So we'll save it first. Because databases are cheap, apparently. Back in my day, we budgeted every goddamn character of every single column. And now it's just a default varchar is like 1,000 characters. I realize compression is a thing, but there's something to be said about an economy of bytes, how it changes how you think. Okay, that's correct. This is correct. Translate seems weird. Oh yeah, and I don't know that we ever tested that the capture group worked. But I wouldn't know, right? Yeah, I guess the capture group did work. We must have just said Imananji. But then it just printed that whole thing off. All right. Otherwise, the final assistant text. Oh, well, I guess that wouldn't be this one, which is good. But I sometimes want to ask, I often want to translate my own last thing that I said. I guess I wouldn't in this case because I could just pass it provisionally to /translate, right? Otherwise, I already screwed up the chat by sending it. So yeah, this is correct, and that's good, and that's still true even if this was because that's role user, so it's selected out. So let's take a look at the translates text command. Oh, I'm still rendering white space. Ugh. We also don't need it. Just read the codes. All right, chat completion. Whew, that is bitter. That is just leaden. It's how I imagine licking a battery would taste if the battery was dead. But it is kind of grown on. Totally. So we're pushing this up with that system message. Sure. Yeah, so give me all the messages as context, right? Except for the ones I'm hiding from AI. Yep. Plus this artificial one, right? System content. And then come back. Oh yeah, and save system message. No, I don't want that. I want to save. Oh, and I already saved /. I suppose I don't need to save anything here. The /translate should be fine. What I want to save is the reply, which I'm probably already doing. It was just I realized I was in a rush. Not in a rush today. I had to do 2 interviews today. I got to do 2 interviews today with candidates at Test Double. It's a fun place to work. We're hiring for a head of sales role and for a senior content manager. You can learn more about these job postings that we have probably closed already, but are nevertheless interesting at testdouble.com/careers. But seriously, it's a fantastic company. I'm super duper proud to continue to be affiliated with all of my lovely friends and colleagues there. I can't wait to hang out at RailsConf. Okay, so we get this result back. We dig in. If it's successful, we save it. We save it as the assistant speaking, but I think that should be system as well. And we should hide it from the UI. Yep. From the AI, rather, not the UI. I don't know that we're going to hide any assistant speak from the AI. That would be odd. Although, understanding, it is a little bit weird, right? That we're having. So the reason that this is tricky and why I would have written assistant there is like the API is indeed intended to have its response represent the assistant's response, but we are using it kind of as a sidecar for some unrelated command. Translate everything in this chat, not to continue the chat. So I think it's actually conceptually like it's just tricky, but it's fine that we're saying that the translation result should be. Also, part of tweaking is like I want to blow up this data and start over. So I'm going to do that. One quick way to do it is just say message.delete all. There they go. Bye-bye. All right, here we go. So if I say, konbanwa, good evening. I hit enter twice. Now I'm concerned. Remember, ChatGPT is a lot slower, and I have to. Oh wow, it's back in English. That's no good. Now I got two problems. So if I say good evening, is it just like always translating the wrong way? Maybe that's the problem. Again, because I've been fake using this, yeah. What kind of day was today? That's weirdly contemplative. 今日はどのような一日でしたか? It's kind of like what a parent might ask a kid after school. All right. Nothing. Well, that's problem one. Our chat app doesn't have chats with you. I'm going to stay on target for now and just focus on one thing at a time. But the backlog is growing in my head. All right, we'll say translate that. Cool. So result is nil. Handle. Oh, where am I? I'm in messages, controllers, create. Yeah. Well, I'm too deep now. Like it passed through the handler, and then nothing happened. So it could be that it fell through the crack here. Yep. Yep. So what happened is translate without the argument after doesn't match this regex because there is a space. So instead, we're going to say some arbitrary amount of white space. So I'm going to go back there. It did save that, but it didn't do anything else with it. Okay, cool. How was your day today? So that worked perfectly fine. That's good. It's still, this is going to appear to be a, right. We're not putting who's the actor in here. So it appears to be a assistant message. Oh, you know what? The fact we're hiding it from AI is the only reason it wouldn't want to look like that, and that's an implementation detail. We're only hiding from AI so it doesn't screw up the flow of the conversation. I'm going to renege on everything I've done so far in the interest of, oh, wait, nope, that's still true. Ernest goes to camp, Ernest doesn't go to camp. I don't know. There, thank you. How many S's? Yeah, I'm gonna undo the other thing I did too, right? Where I said, hey, don't save this message, it's silly. Instead of that system message though, we're gonna save a custom. And we're gonna style it very differently. Translating. I want to truncate it. Right? Because it could be long, right? So we could say, because it's shocking when you like don't know which thing got translated if you just type slash. So in the REPL here, just so you know what I'm working on, if I say foo bar baz first 6, there's a truncate that has like an ellipsis stand it. 1 or 2. All right. Oh, is it like no. Oh, omission? Options omission. Oh, it's looking for a keyword arg? Okay, there we go. I just didn't like the dot dot dot. I wanted the ellipsis. Okay, so that's all I'll say. I'll say translating. Rather than trying to wrap it in quotes because it might contain quotes, I will just give the first 15 characters. Now I'm going to delete all messages again. Okay. Go back to the app, refresh, try this one more time. I'll say, I'll fix the fact that this is not actually working as a chat application later. So it keeps losing focus. Slash translate. It lost the text. Didn't it? Where'd it go? Did this just... Huh. That must not have done what I thought. All right, so something that we've been doing, up until now is when we see a surprise, we just raise hell, get an error so that we can do this, which is say, hey, what's text? Text is an empty string. How is text an empty string? Well, goodness gracious. Now it's definitely not working. So it's doing an admirable job of translating the last thing in there, but I was expecting it to, you know. Mm-hmm. All right. This week, and Justin's not very good at programming, and then decided to publish that on YouTube because a little bit of an exhibitionist, maybe. Ugh. Ugh. This would taste better if it had alcohol. That's not usually true, but at least it'd feel like my work in drinking it was being rewarded somehow. Okay. Sorry if I'm low tempo, low energy tonight. Doing interviews drains me. Takes a lot of energy. It's kind of like giving a mini talk, except I'm super empathetic. And so, like, if somebody else is struggling or whatever, I'm always kind of like, everyone did fine. The interviews were great. It was a good time. Hmm. Hmm. So I'm going to raise hell over here. Try that again. Yep, that was on purpose. So what's $1 got? $1's got. Oh shit! It's just an empty string. Well, sure. Um, there's a trick. This is now becoming one of the most cursed one-liners that I've seen in a while. So presence is a tricky method. It will return the thing if it is present, as in present. And it will return nil otherwise, which means it'll fail this or falsy check. $1, of course, is a special global variable that is set to the capture group one indexed of the most recent regex, which is a dangerous proposition. But this should work. This should fix it. Translating. Good evening. All right. Now we're going to style these. That's not the priority, but it's kind of what I want to do. So, chat views, chat show. So remarkably simple markup. Markup is simple. Obviously, a lot of classes lying around here. For each message. Interesting. So I'm just doing this. Is the message from the user? Yeah, they're very similar. What I will say instead is if the message is a system message, we're going to do something completely different. Else, we are going to do what we've been doing. And for the completely different case, we'll start with, I suppose, the same margin. Not going to worry about white space preline, not going to worry about border, not rounding, not doing any kind of background, not doing any kind of border secondary. We're going to do MX auto. We're going to center it, text center as well. We're going to do font black. We're going to make it nice and dark up in there. Just center black text with maybe like a smoky amount of opacity. I want it to look like a system. Wait, hold on. Is it just message.txt? One of these days, I will remember. First of all, this probably deserves some white space. I hate when I have to. That was about the hardest thing for me with Tailwind is like these lines that are going to be way over 80 characters. I could not do that if I was still using Vim. I would drive myself nuts. All right, message text. So same sort of. Whoa. Did I do that indentation? It feels like I did. Oh no. Gotta ask my AI, was that how this all looked before? What the heck? Oh shit. That's not good. It really is doing that. Oh yeah. Oh, I opened the div without closing it. Yeah, so one of the things that's really just surprising to me is like this ERB prettier balancer will balance out markup and ERB as if they were the same thing, and they're not. And so as I did my first PHP web application in 2003, and it was CSS and JavaScript and PHP and HTML in one 16,000 line file because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I got really good at that point of segregating my mental context to one type of syntax at a time. And so I would see the PHP and ignore the rest. And here I was just looking at only the percentage-y things and not looking at the markup, even though like what I was trying to solve was for indentation by an auto indenter that was like looking at both simultaneously. Deep thoughts. All right. Let's just see. Okay, cool. I also want to make it smaller. Is it font smaller? No, it's probably text SM. Yeah. Font black is not as extra bold. Okay. That's more what I expected. Oh, I bet you the opacity thing broke because that's supposed to go on color. Text secondary. What color are you? Yeah, that's nice. This is a boog. We won't see that again. It would be nice to have this demarcated somewhat. It looks a little. Oh, you know what? It would look good is small caps. Every swig I take of that, I'm like, you don't need to tell them that it tastes bad. You've said that several times. Mm-hmm. Is there not a small caps? Command K. Small caps. CSS small caps. Font variant. Small caps. Font variant. This seems wrong. No. This ain't gonna work. No way. It just must not be supported. I really want that. Tailwind CSS. There's a Netlify thing at the top. All right, I'm not gonna waste any more of your time futzing with that because I also don't know how to do inline styles. Oh, and then it turned out I didn't like it. Right. So maybe Tailwind just has taste, and that's never a good idea. Ugh, come on. My keyboard really is killing me. Capital. Okay, so we're going to do capitalize instead of the bad thing. We're going to make the font XS. XS. I'm going to go the rest there. Yeah, I don't love it. It's still, I think it needs to be a little bit. Not shadow. There's something missing here. I don't know what it is. All right, well, whatever. Good enough for now. There is still leading text on all of these things, which is a note worth having. I should just trim everything that comes in through that controller, is my opinion. Permit text. That means I gotta. It looks at all the adders, I suppose. All right, well, one thing I can do is I can just say, you know, who are we kidding around here? There's exactly one thing. And then I can say strip. All right, try that again. Or not. Is it trim? Foo.trim? .strip? Okay. Oh, that's the whole that was permit. Ugh, goodness gracious. I'll just do text right here. Thank you for hanging out with me. Nope, still did it. Still did it. What is doing that? If I go back up, first just to make sure that I'm right? We'll try that one more time. Yeah, the text is not the problem. So the text is right. I was a misdiagnosis. Diagnosis. It's funny how you mispronounce stuff. About speaking here. Ask for reply. Sure, that's where that is. I know it saves a message. Saves headers merge. Yeah. What the hell? All right. So one more time, we're just diving in one thing at a time here. And now I can see, yes. Adders.merge, role, user. Okay, sure. All this looks fine. But like, there's no white space. Okay. So now I gotta go and save message. What the heck? Again, that's returning a result called message. Calling save, building by adders. Okay, that's all fine. Then I go and look at message. There's nothing in there. Okay, so now I got to drill in one layer more, which is look at the schema. Messages. Text. Null, false, string. Okay. Oh my God, I'm a dummy. So I had a different leading problem before with stuff in the database having leading white space. We saw that, we fixed it. And then when I saw it again, I thought it was a regression. No, what is happening is I criticized myself and I said, oh, this shouldn't be here. It should be on multiple lines. I got this like white space pre-line thing right here. Somebody watching this has like been screaming for the last few minutes. Sorry, everybody. Programming is really hard. All right. That'll fix that problem. All right. Okay, so that's nicer. I can say translate Kusa. Yes, that shows up right. Okay, it's fuck. It's giving me back a translation of the entire prompt. That may be a symptom of the initial prompt being incorrect. So when we go up for ask for reply in the first place to transmit's message, I said Ewa Kaiwa. That's not right. It's not an English Japanese. It's a strictly Japanese conversation. That would definitely. Nihongo no kaiwa suru. Nihongo de in Japanese. Ugh. Can you imagine having multi-byte characters be all your characters? Okay. I'll restart again. Well, I don't have to restart. I can run this thing. Hmm. How am I going to prompt it? I'm not looking at the relevant code. The translates text thing has. All right. So what I could say is we could send two messages, just in case it cares. We would say. So in the context of the conversation, translate it. I'm going to say specifically, tsugi no message o, please do the next message specifically. Ugh. Okay, which of course I don't need interpolation for. But I do need a comma. Also, it definitely feels like I should have more space between these because it's too close. One thing. Character. Nice, nice. So now it knows to demarcate. That's a tricky prompt engineering, such as it is like a really funny, artful, I'd say, exercise. Okay, we're gonna go back up here. We're gonna add more margin top and even margin bottom, up to one for itself and then another one, just to extend the margin. Down one because the thing that's going to come after us will always have one. Let's do a little bit of lightweight math here. Still doesn't scroll to the bottom. That's maddening. Yep, that's just a little bit more space. It looks more reasonable. Okay. Now, in just a few minutes, oh man, there's like just a little piece of junk stuck in a key. Come on. Don't do this. The left bracket is stuck. It is beyond stuck. It is as stuck. Come on. This might be a game breaking. Sorry, code. Like if there was a way for me to hold this up to the camera and have it like not look ridiculous, I would do it. I've never just had a keyboard just. Yeah, now we're having a lot of fun. I think this is just this keyboard's last day. Everybody has a last day. You know, I met Sandy Metz, and they talked about their approach to eating animals, and it was really impactful to me. She said that they try to find like sustainably, healthy, supportive and loving farms that produce livestock, and they'd be animals that just had one bad day, and this keyboard served me so well, and today it's just, come on. Oh, and it's back. It's back. And there we go. Not today, pig. Maybe today. I think this is going straight in the dumpster because it is a Microsoft Sculpty ergonomic doodad, and I've got like 4 of them in boxes over there because these things fail on clockwork. Okay, so that was only 3 minutes of you hearing me yell at a keyboard. What is time? All right. So we're right around 50 minutes. I would like to tackle grammar. I would. Seems like a lot. But I don't know. I'm not doing anything special. So when in doubt, when coding seems hard, just copy paste the whole file. Improves grammar. So this one is going to be different. It's going to have a lot of the same components. There should probably be a wrapper around this, right? I've now repeated this 3 times, but we're in lightning mode now. Improve. Sure. Hide from. Yep. All right. This is the same sort of thing. In the context of this conversation, oh, I put whoa twice in the previous one. Whoops, that was ironed. Something about reading Japanese inside the context of a text editor makes me not understand Japanese anymore. All right. So that changes the complete order of how I would do that. Yeah. Just one quick test because it's not like I've got unit tests for this shit. Watch this fail. It only likes the incorrect one. Nope. Cool. All right. A little bit of a scare. Okay, we're going to go over to improves grammar now. Have a better starting point. I will say instead of translate to English, I will say improve the grammar. Bunpo o te se shite kudasai. We'll do that instead. We'll return. Fixing grammar. Again, it's the assistant responding, sure. And then when we go to the slash command thing, determines, nope, not execute slash command. We'll have a similar sort of set up of some amount of white space, followed by, including the 0 amount. That's why we do star instead of plus. Improves grammar. I'm very gingerly typing on the left bracket, the button that locked up. Now this is different. We still want $1.present, but we don't want to improve the grammar of the assistant. We want to improve our own grammar. So what we'll say instead is user, except the user just saved this, the improve command. So we want the second to last. I bet you there's like a snarky second to last method in active support. Else. Of course there is. Please make. I did not instantiate the thing because it doesn't exist yet. Yeah, okay, we've gone through all the dancing. Let's just on a hope and a prayer see if that method is real based on that random SEO farm website. Sorry if that's your website, but it could use some restyling. I'll type some Japanese. I'll say, I'll make a simple grammar faux pas of mixing up ga and wa, grammatical particles. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to ask it to grammar that. Fix. Improve is a better verb, right? I didn't call the thing grammar, but for now we'll no, we're going to call it fix or improve, which means we're going to improve the if we got the right thing. Okay, that's pretty cool. That second to last as a finder method actually worked. Okay, yeah, and it gave me a different answer. Yeah, and because wa can't be can't mark a direct object, ga did. It's taking it more literally and assuming it's the direct object. So it's saying it's just like it is clear weather, which is totally valid. Well, that's pretty cool, right? Like, let's see if it works with an argument. Namae ga nani. This is definitely wrong. Namae wa nan desu ka? Yep, which is more correct. That's pretty slick. Okay, so like usual, in the last like 3 minutes, all the things just came together after I was like banging my head against the wall for half an hour. That was fun. Cool. Well, good to hang out. Always a joy. Time flies when you're having fun and when you're talking to a camera and when you're worried about how you look and whether or not your face is weird and whether your hairline is receded too much and whether you should get, a hat that doesn't have green netting in the back that you can't use when you got a green screen. I got a green screen, by the way. It's how I do this. It's a little bit of the movie magic behind the show. All right. So thank you very much for hanging out with me. Remember, it is let's@playstupid.games. If you are still here, if you're one of the chosen few who has not dropped off on this video, thank you. I'm having so much fun just chatting. And honestly, I want to get to know more of you. Well, I've had a phone conversation with one of you. If any of you want to reach out and chat about building stuff with Rails, I'm always looking for friends. So reach out. I do not extend this offer at the beginning of the video because YouTube statistics tell me that only the chosen few make it to the bitter end, which is weird because the bitter end is always like the good part, right? Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. All right. It's almost been an hour. You've been fantastic. Take it easy, and I'll see you next time. Good night.